Welcome to another Backyard Professor video. I'm Kerry Schertz, the Backyard Professor. I'm right here in my gorgeous backyard. It's awful windy today though. I hope it's not too windy for this. I'm gonna have to stand close to the camera so I can, boy, can you even see me? I have to just, ooh, boy, there's an ugly shot. Too close, too close. There we go, that's a little better. Standing in front of the wind might help also. I'm here on Tex Creek in the Wildlife Preserve here in Idaho. My backyard. I love coming out in the backyard, man. In early mornings I can see moose and elk and deer, and I'll come up here for some early mornings also. But I'm talking about this DNA in the Book of Mormon. Now, I have seen, not that this is the main issue, I don't care. I truly don't. I just want you to understand how we would approach this, what I'm seeing with the critics and the non-LDS who are saying, well, the LDS scientists are even agreeing that DNA has refuted the Book of Mormon, and they're using Tom Murphy and Simon Southerton, who, you know, a former LDS bishop. Well, he's got to have all the authority, right? No, he's a former LDS bishop. Just because you're a bishop or a stake president doesn't mean that you're Mr. Johnny Doctrine and you know it all. Somehow that's gotten confused. Bishops are to watch after the flock, not necessarily to study the scriptures. Can we keep that clear? This idea that scientists, you know, who are you, Mr. Backyard Nobody Professor? You're not a scientist. How can you refute Thomas Murphy, who is a genuine anthropologist? Well, I'm not arguing against his credentials. I'm arguing about his argument. Look, Tom Murphy can have 5 PhDs as far as I care. If he doesn't utilize the Book of Mormon properly, if he misinterprets its context for genetic problems, if he doesn't include the fullest contextual data available to him, then he's being sloppy. And 5 PhDs isn't going to save his argument. Meldrum and Jeffries are both bona fide scientists who do have fields that take them into molecular genetics and DNA technology and so on and so forth. I may not be the scientist, that's true, but I read them. I'm well aware of the various interpretations, so yeah, you're right. I suppose you could just toss this off because, oh, that's just him, and he doesn't have a PhD in science. Neither do 90% of the critics on the internet who are touting this fall of the Book of Mormon through DNA analysis. The Book of Mormon has not been proven false, folks. I got bad news for you if you think that's your case. Your case isn't sticking. None of us are leaving the church because of it, unless our name is Murphy or Southerton. And mine is Schertz, so I'm staying put because I believe in the Book of Mormon. Okay. I'm going to skip and highlight and discuss some of the various aspects of their book. Their perspective is of writing of faithful LDS people. They say that outright. Their perspective is also scientists who understand how DNA works, who understand the wonderful power of using DNA to explore who is related to who. They also understand its serious limitations. This apparently is not understood by the vast majority of John Q. public, you know. They think if someone has a PhD and is LDS and who loses the faith in the Book of Mormon, that refutes the Book of Mormon. Whoopee, I don't care if he has 5 PhDs. How good is his argument? That's what I'm interested in. Tom Murphy's argument is not strong. It's not good, and it's not accurate. He may be a great guy. His argument's simply wrong. As I end all my videos against the Book of Mormon, the arguments are simply wrong. They agree, interestingly enough, and they admit they agree at this point. What is it? 2008, May. Criminy, I don't know the date. I don't worry about dates that much right now. Middle of May, 2008, right now. As of now, The conclusions is based on the testing that has been done on certain segments of the population. The DNA demonstrates that that very small percentage has Asiatic origin. They say, well, yeah, we can agree with that. The DNA analysis is being done right. You know, we're not attacking DNA science. Of course not. Criminy, Meldrum, and Jeffries work within that context also in their careers. I'm certainly not disparaging it. What I'm arguing about is the conclusions based on such a meager beginning. And they show how much is being done and why it's absolutely impossible to do an exhaustive analysis. And there's the rub. There's the rub. But with the Book of Mormon, the conclusion that as so much of the populations of the Native Americans have been tested, which is less than 1% by far, incidentally, based on those conclusions, the critics say that proves the Book of Mormon's false, because there's no Lamanite DNA. There's no Jewish DNA. So therefore, the Book of Mormon's lying. It's false. It's not a real history. Two other scientists, Meldrum and Jeffries, who have analyzed the context of the Book of Mormon and the limitations of DNA science, they say this conclusion does not constitute a refutation of the historicity of the Book of Mormon. Now, there's two LDS scientists who say that the other LDS scientist, Tom Murphy, has come to a wrong conclusion. So let's not pretend there's all of a sudden a unanimity among LDS scientists that all of a sudden they're all becoming disgruntled and they're getting mad at the LDS scholars and apologists who keep trying to deny the significance of DNA science against the Book of Mormon. No, we're not denying one thing. We are not denying anything, folks. Two scientists have come out in print, 2007, and said this is not a refutation of the historicity of the Book of Mormon.